What's going on, Neon Nation? Welcome back to the Neon Arcade for some more Cyberpunk 2077 and Cyberpunk 2077 news. We have yet another densely filled news episode for you guys today, including details about 3 Cyberpunk games in development for CD PROJEKT RED and clarification on exactly what that means, refused as the in-game band Samurai, the full release of Chippin In by CD PROJEKT RED and the Samurai EP details, a full analysis of a new screenshot from a German magazine, Cyberpunk 2077's prologues and how they're connected to lifepath choices, a Cyberpunk 2077 movie possibility, romance and sex options in Night City, and much more. First, we have new details via a Polish economics website called bankier.pl, writing about a CD PROJEKT RED meeting or conference where we learn about future Cyberpunk titles. Now, earlier in the week, it was largely reported on from a Google Translate version of this Bankier article that CD PROJEKT RED was currently developing 3 Cyberpunk projects, including Cyberpunk 2077. This information comes directly from CDPR president Adam Kicinski, who mentions that there are 3 teams working on Cyberpunk things, the main game, and 2 more projects. Piotr Nielubowicz also stated, "Our next big project will be in the Cyberpunk universe, and we're already working on it and treating it as a really big and innovative project for us." CD PROJEKT RED recently clarified to the media after the Bankier article, saying that they have 5 teams in total, with 3 focused on the development of Cyberpunk 2077, 1 for Gwent, and 1 for an unannounced mobile title in conjunction with Spoko. These include CD PROJEKT RED Warsaw and Krakow, handling the main game of Cyberpunk 2077, and the Wrocław studio, where there are 40 industry specialists engaged in research and development. Wrocław is likely for the multiplayer component to Cyberpunk, which may come out post-launch, and with only 40 people doesn't really fit Piotr's description of the next Cyberpunk universe project being quote-unquote big. This big game is more likely linked to the 2021 AAA RPG coming out from CD PROJEKT RED that we've known for a while now. So essentially, at the very least, we have 2 Cyberpunk projects, with the 2021 AAA RPG being a different genre, or at the very best, at least for Cyberpunk fans, 3 Cyberpunk games including the AAA RPG. Just as a final note, Kicinski also mentions that in the beginning of 2020, we will get a strong dose of Cyberpunk information, and that industry journalists will already be playing it and writing about it. They have confirmed no planned playable demo for us at home, so we will be largely reading about it. Next, we have some details on the music of Samurai, a legendary rock band in the Cyberpunk universe led by Johnny Silverhand. CD PROJEKT RED released their updated version of Chippin In by Samurai, who will be represented by the sounds of Swedish rock band Refused. This Chippin In version has really started to grow on me, and while it may be disappointing to hear that the 2018 version will not be featured, I think this represents the aggression of chromatic rock much better. If you guys are unaware, Chippin In is actually slang in the Cyberpunk world for buying cyberware for the first time, hence the art for the single. If you guys haven't heard it yet, here's a snippet. Further details from Marcin Pribilowicz state that the Samurai EP will feature songs such as Black Dog and Never Fade Away from the Lore, as well as songs exclusively created for Cyberpunk 2077. The Samurai EP will likely be all rock and punk, and the Cyberpunk 2077 OST will have a larger variety of genres to fit the mood of the Cyberpunk world. Next, we have a screenshot via GamePro.de magazine from Germany. In this screenshot, we see the arm of V breaking through the rubble of a seemingly deserted area of the outskirts of the city, much like what we saw in the ending to the E3 2019 CGI trailer. The screenshot has a lot to it, so let's do a quick analysis. First, let's take a look at all the standout and new ads in the world. In the top left, we have Abydos, which we know is a drink, and we also have Discrepancy, which seems to be a movie poster in the world of Night City. On the right of Discrepancy, we have a braindance ad, as denoted by the BD, with the tagline, "Do you feel the itch?", which we see more clearly via this Reddit post. This is a foreign body braindance ad with a caution logo next to it, which might hint at it being somewhat of an extreme braindance. We see a new ad for Dynalar, which is a cybernetic technology company in the world of 2077, who can be seen making subdermal grips. Next to it, we have a Mark 24 ad, and a really cool ad for what looks like a fashion designer. The aesthetic of the model on this poster is super intriguing and reminds me of this Ghost in the Shell Fashion Week art piece. Next we have an ad that's likely going to stir up some controversy of some sort called Watson Whore, likely a prostitution service in the Watson area. We already know Vargas is some kind of smoke or tobacco, and we also have my favorite of the bunch, Mr. Stud. We have seen this before, but this is a closer look at it and the catchphrase of all night every night. Mr. Stud is a genital enhancement for men, and the ad says you can upgrade now to version 3 for free. Finally, we have Below Deck, which is a club we've seen before, and a new firearm store that's likely going to be in competition with the Second Amendment, Bubba's Firearm Gallery. Moving on to the image itself, we have a Militech revolver, which we can see being used by Male V in the Cyberpunk 2077 cover art, and by Dexter Deshawn in the CGI trailer. I think it's likely the scene takes place where the end of the last CGI trailer ended, but possibly due to a different life path option or option in game you've made, as the figure walking towards you doesn't seem to be Johnny Silverhand. In fact, based on that figure, it really does look like what Morgan Blackhand, one of the best solos from 2020 lore, would look like with his signature trench coat.
Mr. Hand sent me. Am I right for the job?
If we zoom in, this could be Blackhand based on a redesign, and it looks like his hand is a black augmentation, which would fit the name and updated aesthetics of Cyberpunk 2077. Facially, the character also could be Asian, but we can't really say for sure. Also, within the scrapyard, we see a training robot that we train on when we engage in boxing activities. Next up, we have details of 3 separate prologues for the game based on the life path options we pick at the beginning. In details from Pavo Sasko, he mentions that the player in Cyberpunk 2077 can create a custom character that has one of 3 origin stories that we call life paths. You can be Nomad, Corpo, or Street Kid. Each of the life paths have a different starting location and story background that are strongly connected with the origin story. Anything more I say can reveal too much from the story, so I will leave it like this. We also know from previous statements that our outfits will be different based on our life path options. This brings that much more diversity to playthroughs and gives an inevitable boost to the replayability of Cyberpunk 2077. So which life path option will you choose between Street Kid, Corpo, and Nomad? Drop a comment and let me know. Next we have details about romances, sex, NPC, and getting friend-zoned in Night City. Again, from lead quest designer Pavo Sasko, we learn a little bit more about how relationships have the potential to unfold. Pavo says NPCs will have their own goals, motivations, and needs, and thus there will be scenarios where NPCs will choose a friendship over a relationship. Pavo goes on to mention that sometimes those goals align with what V is trying to achieve, and depending on the player's decisions, it may spark interest on the side of the NPC. Side characters won't fall for V in every scenario. He mentions that some relationships will be hard to cultivate and that NPCs will have some preferences that are impossible to change, which leads to characters feeling genuine and real. As we know from before, these will include straight, gay, and lesbian relationships. Next, we're going to list off a couple fast facts. When it comes to the North America merch store launch, it seems that us in the United States and Canada will be able to access the store in August. The install size of Cyberpunk 2077 has been reportedly set at a minimum of 80 gigabytes. When it comes to public events, CD PROJEKT RED will have appearances in Gamescom, PAX West, the Tokyo Game Show, Igramir, and the Paris Games Week. Finally, when it comes to BioWare, we know that we will be able to modify our immune system and nervous systems. Next, we have some weapon customization details. Mateusz Tomaszkiewicz spoke to Gaming Bolt, where he said that you can customize your weapons in a variety of ways, including scopes and silencers, and specific weapons will have a certain amount of slots for these. When it comes to how many weapons, he can't really say a specific amount, but there are katanas, hammers, knives, nanowires, heavy guns, light machine guns, revolvers, sniper rifles, and more. Moving on, we have some details about the nature of Cyberpunk and Cyberpunk 2077 from the man himself, Mike Pondsmith. In some recent articles, he dives into the expansiveness of the world, the politics of Cyberpunk, and the potential for a Hollywood movie for Cyberpunk. First, let's talk about the possibility for a Cyberpunk movie. In an interview with VGC, Pondsmith says he can't really say if their rights are being optioned for a Cyberpunk movie, but acknowledges that Reeves has brought some star credibility to the project. To me, this refusal for Pondsmith to outright say no, although it may be a future possibility, gives more legitimacy to the fact that they are most likely talking about a movie adaptation of some sort. CD PROJEKT RED was also asked if other Hollywood actors will appear in the game, to which they replied with no comment, again legitimizing the fact that there might be some due to them not outright squashing it. Pondsmith goes on to say that they have hit a sweet spot between being a cerebral story without getting bogged down in being overly educational, and that Cyberpunk 2077 is still very much so a narrative-driven story. This goes hand in hand with another statement from Pondsmith saying that there are a lot more stories in the Cyberpunk universe to tell. Finally, we have our giveaway winner, so congrats to Silver Knight 2020 for the copy of Cyberpunk 2077. I will do more of these in the future, so keep an eye out. Thanks for watching, guys, and for everything and anything Cyberpunk 2077, join Neon Nation by subscribing to the Neon Arcade.